Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with Game 3 of the 2013 ScarabCon tournament, my Beastmen versus Bretonnia. I was actually really excited to play this game. This opponent I've never played before, but we know each other, and actually we just came back from eating lunch together and found out that we'd be playing each other in this game. So yeah, I was excited for it. He's got a kind of a cool theme here with his display board, kind of a Lady of the Lake in the middle of the water, and then the knights and peasants coming up out of the water. There's kind of a close-up. He actually has peasants who are cut in half, so it looks like they're still half submerged. It's kind of cool. So anyway, we have a immediate engagement scenario. There are 3 tokens running along the middle of the table, and you get 100 victory points for having a unit within, I think, 3 inches, maybe 6 inches of those. I think it has to be a core unit. And I won the roll to choose sides, so I deployed first, not knowing what he was going to do, so I did what you can see. I'll go through it in a minute. And then he deployed in reaction to me. So Peg Knights on the left, 2 Trebuchets in back. He's got a Knight of the Realm unit with 2 Paladins, both with a 1-up rerollable, and then he's got his Prophetess with Lore of Beasts. Then he's got a Men-at-Arms unit, and behind it is his General, Heroic Killing Blow, and then Charm Shield and Worm Lance. 6 Grail Knights, and then 9 Knights Errant, and then another unit of Peg Knights. So Peg Knights are a wonderful counter to all my chariots. So I threw a few chariots. I had a few chariots here on the right. Doom Bull with the 2 wide Minotaur unit. I went narrow because I'm trying to squeeze everything in between the building and the impassable terrain. A couple more chariots, and then my Gorbulls unit. And on the left, I've got my Shaman, and then 2 chariots. And the reason that one on the left is facing the way it is because I have to keep 6 inches away from the middle line of the table, and I couldn't do that and stay on the table, so I just turned them sideways. I figured I'd go first, so it wouldn't matter. So he vanguards even more to the right with his Peg Knights. These Peg Knights vanguard closer to his lines. And because he wants the blessing, I go first and I move, as you can see. So really, I want to get in combat as quickly as possible, but I really don't want my units double charged or anything, so I move up like that. The chariots moved up as far as they could go, 7 inches. If you look on the left, what I was trying to do with my chariots and with my Brave Shaman is make it to where his Peg Knights couldn't charge him, because the Peg Knights would be in a certain flank and there was no room to fit on that flank. During the magic phase, because this is this tournament, I'm trying to kill my mage on turn 1. I almost succeeded. He miscast and only took 1 wound. So in game 1 of the tournament, he died turn 1. Game 2 of the tournament, he died turn 1. And we still have time yet in turn 1. So anyway, in exchange for that, I got +1 strength and toughness on my Minotaurs. We go to his turn, and yeah, he moved his pegs behind my lines, and during the magic phase, I think it was his magic phase, he Flocka-doomed my Brave Shaman and killed him. Turn 1, I swear. Trebuchets rock my Minotaur unit, kill a couple of them outright despite toughness 5. And we go to Beastman turn 2. So kind of a lot of things going on here. If you look on the left, my chariots are arranged like that, so the rearmost one cannot be seen by his Peg Knights, and if his Peg Knights charge the other one, unless they get lucky and break him in combat and get off the table, he's going to be set up for a counter charge by my chariots. So that's kind of what I was hoping there. Yeah, on the right, really I just have chariots that are trying to move up and support, and some chariots that are hanging back for counter charges so that he doesn't have absolute free reign behind my lines. So I got a long charge here with my Doom Ball. I think I needed a 10. My thinking was I might as well try to charge because I wasn't going to move much more than a few inches anyway. So if I failed, it wasn't a big deal. But what I like here is, 1, I can start whittling down this Men-at-Arm unit, and 2, if he wants to countercharge me, the risk he faces is that I'm going to get so much combat res against the Men-at-Arms that when his Knights come in, I might just break them through combat res. So there's that. Chariot made a huge long charge against his Knights Errant. I was very happy about that. And after combat, yeah, a lot of Men-at-Arms are dead. Men-at-Arms, whatever, they're dead. When I made way with my Doom Bowl, I put him in the rightmost corner, so that when I reformed, I brought everybody else as you can see them. Now, because I get a lot of questions on this, let me just clarify. When you do a combat reform, your center does not have to stay the same. You cannot remove models that are in base-to-base contact, and you can't change facing on your opponent. So I can't move from the Men-at-Arms front to their flank or anything weird like that. Other than that, that's legal. So I did this so that if he countercharges, he's all in my front. The Grail Knights were going to be in my flank, but there's no way I was going to avoid that. But if the Grail Knights come in, they can only hit my Doom Bull, so the Grail Knights can't just erase my Minotaur unit. So I like how I am here. The Minotaurs are at 5 attacks each, strength 5. They are nothing to sneeze at. I don't care if you do have armor. So I know that if I were him, I would be anxious to countercharge it. Over here, the Chariot killed 4 of his Knights Errant. I can't complain about that whatsoever, but he held with his Steadfast. Now I'm going to get countercharged by some Peg Knights, and I can't complain too much. It cost me an 80-point Chariot, and I killed 80 points worth of Knights Errant. We go to Bretonnia turn 2. At the bottom, we can move through the pictures. His leftmost Peg Knights charge a Chariot. Now, if they beat him or an overrun or whatever, I have a Chariot behind it that can countercharge. Or that's the way it's set up anyway. At the top, he countercharges this Chariot. I'm almost certainly going to lose that. And he charges everything into the Minotaurs. His general crisscrosses with his Knight of the Realm unit, and otherwise it's pretty much straightforward. And again, we're going to get in a challenge with individual Grail Knights and my Doom Bull, because for Grail Knights, special rule is all of them count as a champion. So he can just keep on challenging me until I kill 6 in 6 challenges. That's 3 whole turns. That's going to be difficult. So, in all honesty, the only thing I'm worried about is this general getting insanely lucky with the 2 or more heroic killing blows. Other than that, I don't think he could do enough wounds to me to make up for the wounds I'm going to do against his men-at-arms. So I was actually, nervous, but for the most part, I'm okay with this combat. And of course, if he doesn't break me, my other Minotaur unit is going to countercharge, and he might just be in trouble then. So after combat, the Peg Knights at the bottom beat the Chariot and overrun, and then the Peg Knights at the top beat that Chariot and ran it down and overran into the flank of another Chariot. So it was kind of poor setup on my part. And in the middle, he went to town on my Minotaurs. I don't know. I remember his Paladins doing just a ton of wounds. His General didn't do any wounds, but his 2 Paladins really went to town. But basically, the whole Minnow unit got erased except for my Standard Bearer. So that pulled the Knights of the Realm and his General out of that combat. So this is a picture of Beastmen turn 3. So I charge my Gorbul's unit into his General, and I charge a Chariot into the flank of his Grail Knights. Yeah, this was kind of a rules question. We didn't really care how we played it, but the question we had was, I declare a charge on the General, and I could charge the General without charging the Knights of the Realm. But if I was going to maximize models in combat with the General, I had to charge both. So I thought the way you played it was I would only charge the General. He thought the way you played it is you would charge both. Neither one of us really cared, so we just rolled off, and that's the way we played it. So I charged both those units, and this Chariot's coming to the flank of the Grail Knights. So basically, my Doom Bull killed the one Grail Knight I was in challenge with, but he didn't do much else. I think he may have done 1 or 2 wounds total, which is not enough. I lost combat, so I lost all those frenzies now. I'm pretty confident that even with 5 wounds, he can kill a Grail Knight a turn, but I needed a lot more combat res from that. So now I think I'm in trouble. So I'm hoping the Chariot can kill a few of these Grail Knights, give me some combat res. One of my leftmost Chariots got a charge off on a Trebuchet, which was very nice. And after combat, it looks like that. So the Chariot came in and did nothing whatsoever, not a single wound, which was very frustrating. One of his Grail Knights did a wound to my Chariot. My Doom Bull kills the champion, but not other overkill. And I have 2 wounds on my remaining Minotaur, so the Men-at-Arms are getting enough wounds. So 1 more wound and the Minnow unit's dead. And it's just, I'm in trouble, because now he can countercharge me again. On the left, we killed the rest of the Knights of the Realm. His remaining 2 Paladins and Prophetess broke from combat, so it killed his Battle Standard Bearer. And if you look at the top middle, that's the Prophetess and the Paladin that's remaining. And then his General stuck. It would have been really nice if that General would not have, but oh well. So, yeah, interesting combats in the middle of the table. Go to Bretonnia turn 3, his Peg Knights at the bottom, charge a Chariot, I flee, and he catches me. Let's get close-ups. The Peg Knights that were at the top fly behind my last remaining Chariot, so this Chariot, so there's really not a whole lot I can do to escape them. And His knights errant charged my chariot that had countercharged his Grail Knights that had countercharged my Doom Bull. It's like a big puzzle there in the middle of the table. But the long and short of it is I'm just in trouble. I really think that there's a good chance the chariot's just going to die from wounds. That'll give him 3 combat res. They don't have a flank with the Grail Knights, and he'll have at least a rank. So he's almost certainly gonna beat the Doom Bull in combat this turn, and has a very good chance of breaking him and running him down. His Prophetess and Paladin rally, and after combat there's no more Doom Bull. And to add insult to injury, I don't think I even killed a Grail Knight that time. Great, way to go, Doom Bull. If you look on the left, I was really disappointed here. I thought with all those, if I don't know if he issued a challenge or not, but if he did, I was just going to refuse it and move to the back rank. So I had 5 attacks each, so that's 15 plus 6, 21 attacks on his general at strength 5. He had a 5-up, 5-up save. I was certain I was going to kill him. This was his turn. If I killed the general, I could reform and face all those reduced units and just make him choose if he's going to flee or allow me to chew him up. And his general's hanging on with 1 wound. I was so disappointed. I don't know what the math hammer is on that, but I think I should have killed him. Anyway, Beastman turn 4. The chariot. I had a chariot countercharge his general. I don't think I need it, but who knows? I need that general dead. I need my Minotaurs freed up. If you look on the left, I have a chariot. Tried to charge his Paladin and Prophetess. I was really excited about that charge. I don't know what I needed. I think it was like a 9 or something, and he failed it. And that was a bummer, because that's a lot of points sitting there that a chariot could take care of. And we got one chariot came here to the flank of his knights errant, and this could do well for me. If I can get lucky and do 3 wounds, I can almost certainly break them, overrun into the Grail Knights, and then hold them up so that on my next turn the Minotaurs should be able to catch the Grail Knights. So because Grail Knights can't flee. So really hopeful here. To say I'm hopeful here is an understatement. This guy should have been dead last turn. So after combat, yeah, the general's dead. So I reform with the Minotaurs. I've got 4 frenzy markers. These guys are no joke. They're about to rip into anything they touch. My chariot that charged in, I reformed it so that between the 2 chariots, I don't think his characters can get out of my line of sight, unless they just run way the heck away from me. But there's nothing I can do about that. And here on the right, the chariot came in. I killed 1 combat. He did a wound on me, which is a real bummer. But he stuck and then reformed. So I kind of like that it's holding up his Grail Knights, but it's not really going to help because next it's his turn and Peg Knights are going to countercharge that chariot. So Peg Knights countercharge the chariot. His Grail Knights and the Men-at-Arms are just trying to get away from the Minotaurs. At this point, we both think it's turn 5. I don't know why, but we think it's turn 5, and so he's just trying to save his points because he doesn't have enough left in these units to handle my Minotaurs. And I think that what he's doing is the right thing. So he's sacrificing his Paladin, parking him in front of my Minotaurs so the Minotaurs couldn't just start charging stuff. Because if I could charge, if I got lucky and made a charge, I'd be right back up in his business. So anyway, looks like that. And here on the left, he took his Prophetess. Instead of marching her away from all this, she came where you see her so she could, I think she wants to pick on my Minotaurs, weaken them. What I think he didn't see is that, he was thinking that my leftmost chariot couldn't see her, and he's correct, but my rightmost chariot can easily see her. And so now I'm going to charge 1 chariot at the trebuchet and crisscross the other chariot to hit his Prophetess on my turn, assuming that my chariot's still there. So that's another picture. Yeah, all these pictures of my chariot about to die. And my chariot died. I can't believe the chariot this turn did 2 wounds to his knights errant. That was kind of lucky. But it doesn't matter. There's 2 left, but that's all he needs. So Beastman turn 5. My Minotaurs charge his Paladin. My 2 chariots charge the targets they were going to do. Overall, the board looks like that. And yeah, trebuchet. The trebuchet died. I tried to overrun off the table just to make sure I was safe from a Peg Knight countercharge, but I failed. I didn't go far enough, but it doesn't matter. He is where you can see him. After my leftmost chariot killed the Prophetess, I just reformed so that if the If the Peg Knights want to charge me, they have to charge me in the front. Um, I was thinking about overrunning, hoping to get off the table, but I didn't want to risk it. There's always a chance that I would fail it. The Minotaurs do what they do. They killed the Paladin and overran D6. So they now have 5 Frenzy markers. Those guys are no joke. So now we thought that was turn 6. That's why... Well, anyway, let me just carry on here. So we go to Bretonnia turn 5, and really, because I can't see anything, I'm not going to be able to charge anything on my turn. He just puts his Knights Errant and his Men-at-Arms next to the tokens, because now he has core units claiming those tokens. It's 100 victory points each. And otherwise, he's just, just saving points. The Grail Knights are off where you can't see them. So basically, we know that I have a 6th turn coming up, but none of my stuff can see anything. Now, on the very far left, his Peg Knights charge a Chariot. And I think that he has a very good chance, but he whiffs his attacks, and we stick in that combat. So at that point, there's nothing else to be done. Now, I have turn 6, but there's nothing I can charge, and he has nothing that's going to charge me. So I think we just fought the Chariot combat, Peg Knight combat on the left, and everybody's stuck, and we just called it a game. It wrapped up like that. So even though it looks like we only did 5, the 6th turn we were aware of it, but just didn't. Nothing was going on. So we added it up, and it ended up being a 9-11 loss for the Beastmen. It's basically a draw. Whatever. It's real close, real fun game. It's one of those games too where you're just like, it's just like beating my head against the wall, because there's so many times where just a couple more wounds that should have gone my way. If they had, it would have made a big difference. But that's the way it goes sometimes. So I'm 3 for 3 in terms of having games against nice balanced lists and really fun games against really enjoyable opponents. So I'm mid-pack on the tournament. Apparently nobody is killing it with the tournament. There's only 16 people in it total. I'm mid-pack or so, but I'm actually still not too far away from the lead, so I actually still have a chance to be able to place in the tournament. So that's it for Game 3. Hope you enjoyed it.